Our next inductee is from the men's basketball team. Rollie Smith played in all 111 games from his freshman year to his senior year. He started all those 111 games. Clarion was 73-38 overall, 31-17 in the West. He ended up 6th in career scoring, 2nd in 3 points made, 4th in career assists. He was Rookie of the Year his freshman year in the PSAC, and of course he was first team All-Conference and All-American his senior year. He led Clarion to its first PSAC basketball title in 2001. Rollie Smith, see, are you ready?
Of course.
Okay. You're a freshman at St. Joe's in Cleveland, or you're a senior at St. Joe's in Cleveland. And as I recall, Dave Wojciechowski, who was a point guard here at Clarion, was the head coach your senior year. You had a good senior year. And then through the recruiting process, you choose Clarion. Who recruited you and how did that come about?
So after my senior year, I didn't have very many offers. So, my coach, Dave Wojciechowski, reached out to Clarion because he was an alumni. And they came to one of our open gyms and pretty much offered me on the spot. Coach Power was actually the coach that recruited me, and then he left. So.
And then you had, of course, Ron Ryder and Coach Al.
Yeah, so I was stuck with Coach Al for 4 years, unfortunately.
Now, even though you were recruited and you were offered a scholarship, when you got to Clarion, you weren't considered right at the outset the number one point guard. How did you become the number one point guard through the process of fall training and et cetera?
A little bit of luck and some previous experience. The starting point guard, R.C. Kehoe, ended up getting kicked off the team before our first scrimmage. So it left me having to beat out the reigning Rookie of the Year, who was now a sophomore, for the starting point guard job. And I had been in that situation before, having to fight for my spot in high school. So, a couple years later, same situation. I was able to prevail in high school, so, let's get to it. And I was able to beat him out, so.
Much like Caitlin Johnson, sometimes stories are positive, sometimes stories aren't maybe so positive, but they teach an example. Mm-hmm. You have a great freshman year. I mean, you're Rookie of the Year in the West. The team is doing great. You're first in the PSAC-West, and you get to the PSAC playoffs, the first round against Slippery Rock. I thought that would be interesting, but it taught a lesson for the year to come. So that's why I'm asking you about that.
Yes. So we ended up, finishing first in the conference. So we were able to host our PSAC playoff game, and so we're thinking that we're really good. So I would say we were a bit cocky going into that game, and this is early 2000s, and headbands had just came back, and so we call ourselves, being the cocky bunch that we were, let's all go out and get headbands. So we go out, we get headbands. And we come and we play in the game. We're hosting the game. We got these headbands. Coach Ryder had no idea about them. All of a sudden, we all run out, with these headbands on, and we get beat by 20. So, needless to say, Coach Ryder.
None too happy.
There's a no headband rule now, thanks to us getting beat in the first round.
Interesting how Mother Nature or whatever sort of dictates situations. So the very next year in 2001, the team doesn't have as good a year, regular season, but you make the playoffs. and you go to IUP, and you'll love this, beating IUP at IUP in the first round of the playoffs. And then you go to Edinburgh, and you win the next game. So now you get to the finals. Why tell the folks about that finals game and winning the 2001 PSAC Championship?
Well, it was a tie ball game, and Westchester was at the foul line. If they make this free throw, they pretty much win the game.
Actually, you're down 3 points.
Oh, were we down 3?
Yeah, and Stanton is at the foul line.
Oh, that's right.
For Westchester.
So we're down by 3, and if he makes the free throw, they're up by 4. So pretty much the game's over. Well, luckily he missed it, and I was outside of the foul line, as one of the shorter guys, so I can't help out down there at that point. So I'm standing on the outside. The ball bounces out to me, and the play was to get it to our leading scorer, Steve Sawaka, who was, as I'm dribbling up the court, he's on my right side. Well, of course, they're denying him the ball. Clock's running. I'm coming down the court. I guess I got to shoot it. I pull up for a 3, and it goes in. So we're tied. We go into overtime. And at that point, I'm kind of in autopilot, just wanting to win. And I either scored or assisted on every single one of our points in overtime. And we ended up winning the game.
So Clarion wins 80-77 in overtime and wins their first PSAC championship in 2001. It just goes to show that sometimes bad things happen, but then you learn from those, and sometimes great things happen.
Yeah, good thing we didn't have the headbands on.
Moving up to 2002 and 3, well, let's talk about 2003. And before I do that, I just wanted to, Coach Ryder sent a little note. He wanted me, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I wanted to read a little portion of what he wrote to lead into my next question. Dear Raleigh, a hearty congratulations to you and your fellow inductees into the Clarion University Hall of Fame. A most joyous occasion for each of you. Raleigh, you certainly set the bar high for point guard play. You were the consummate playmaker, confident and so skilled and dedicated to improve your game every day. I came across this word the other day and immediately thought of you, intrepid, an adjective meaning characterized by resolute fairness, fortitude, and endurance. And he goes on to say, thank you and et cetera. But going into your senior year, you knew the complexion of the team was changing. So you and Coach Ryder, before summer hits, you guys sit down and have a conversation about your role on the next year's team. Talk a little bit about that, because you end up scoring 562 points along with 104 assists your senior year. Obviously your best year, but you decide to take a different role. How did that conversation go?
Well, as the other inductees know, there's not much money for Division II sports. So going into my senior year, I sat down with Coach Ryder, and we're kind of like going over the makeup of the team and the direction of the team. And I told him, I said, Coach, we have a backup point guard who's capable of starting. I don't mind moving over to shooting guard, and we can use, some scholarship money and go after a big, which is what we need. So that was our conversation, and, being a 3-year starter, I had a good relationship with Coach Ryder, and he was like, okay, let's do it. And
it worked out.
Yeah, it was, and it was a tough transition for me, because I'm a natural point guard. I'm used to getting my teammates involved, keeping everybody happy. So that summer, after we had that conversation, I had to transform my mind, and I had to become a scorer. So that meant shooting shots that I normally would pass, taking bad shots and understanding that some of my bad shots might actually be best for the team than some other people's best shot. But it took a whole summer of like training my mind and my body for that, and because of that, I had a really good senior year statistically.
Yeah, one last quick thought. You had a record for you and one of the better games in Clarion career. You had 38 points in a blowout win against Pitt-Johnstown. Do you have any remembrances of that game where like everything you shot went in, or that you just had the hot hand that game? 38 points, a lot of points.
Yeah. Ironically, I didn't start scoring until the second half, really. I remember being at the foul line, and one of the guys from Pitt-Johnstown was at the foul line, and he was having a pretty good game. I want to say he had probably like 24 points at the time, and this is with probably 14 minutes left in the game, and he had 24 already. So he's at the line, and he's talking good about himself. And one of my teammates, Chris Kelly, he turns to me and he says, "Raleigh, get him." And
You went off.
26 points in 14 minutes. And every point was directed towards that guy.
So some thank yous to finish up here for yourself.
Family and friends. My mom never missed a game, so I'm gonna try to hold it together. She never missed a game. She was one of the reasons why I worked so hard. I got friends here that I've known since the third grade who are here. One of my college roommates, Ed Rivers, we went through a lot of similar things together because he played football. My girlfriend's here with my daughter Gia. My best friend from kindergarten, his mom is here. She's like my other mom. And one of the other people that are here that I just got to love over time is Adrian. He loves basketball, but he can't participate as well as he wants to. He's just now getting into it. So it means a lot for me, for him to see me here, and to kind of have something to shoot for.
That's great. Rollie Smith, you're certainly more than deserving of being inducted into this Hall of Fame. Thank you so much, and congratulations.